We are the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. Dancing with the South Florida Stars returns, benefiting Wilton Manors through Stonewall Pride. The event will be held at the Manor on May 13th.
University of Florida issues warnings to pro-Palestinian demonstrators, threatening suspension, campus banishment, and terminations for behavioral rule violations during ongoing protests.
Gay Days All Aboard 2024 Land Cruise Appreciation Sale offers tower and standard rooms for $199 and $800 in free tickets and free events.
Ellen DeGeneres makes a comedic comeback in Ellen's Last Stand, Up Tour, addressing her show's end and perceived personal journey.
Despite a huge surge in proposed bills targeting LGBTQ+ communities, few pass into law, signaling a potential shift in political priorities. What's going on in the business of hate?
Good evening. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ+ daily evening television news, broadcasting live and available on demand. Available on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. It's time to queer up the news for Tuesday, April 30th, 2024. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we are going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ+ evening news show. Whatever happens unique in LGBTQ+ news, you will see it and hear it.
Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ+ community. Our mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our queer culture, the Black community, Latino, lesbians and queer women, trans, students, youth, seniors, HIV and AIDS healthcare, business, social justice, and faith. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ+ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
In 2024, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ+ experience, and our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support mission to educate the LGBTQ+ and broader community.
Let's meet tonight's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome back Mateo Ventura Bruer. He is the executive director of the Aqua Foundation for Women. Mateo is proudly trans and Chicano, and is Aqua's first transgender executive director. Mateo, welcome back. I love having you at the table. Jewish Community Services and Pride Lines are hosting the first ever LGBTQ Elders Awareness Day at the Liberty City Center in Miami on May 18th. Tell me what's happening.
Yeah, so Pride Lines and their partners are hosting Elders Awareness Day. It's going to run from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. There's going to be tons of cool activities, keynote panel, multiple workshops, art therapy, meditation, and most importantly, I think, intergenerational conversation. So if you're interested in this free event, you can email eddie@pridelines.org.
Sounds like we can all take something away from that event. Let's welcome back anchor Jeff Oliverio. He is a financial advisor and certified financial planner with the Truist Wealth in Fort Lauderdale. Jeff is one of the founders and president of the Hollywood LGBTQ+ Council. He has served as co-chair for the National LGBTQ Task Force Gala since 2021. Jeff, tell me what's happening.
Well, believe it or not, it's almost gala season again.
Believe it or not.
We're really excited. We're starting to kick off our planning with our committee, so we're looking for people who may want to join and help us plan the iconic event. It's coming up in October of 2024.
Wow, I can't believe it's right around the corner.
I know.
Let's welcome for her first time at the round table, Nicole Kidd. She is an international jazz vocalist raised in Miami Beach, winner of Miami New Times Best Jazz Act. She has worked with icons like Gloria Estefan, Michael Bublé, and has been a backup singer for Thelma Houston, Mary Wilson, Martha Wash, and many more. Nicole is getting ready to release her first jazz album. Nikki, you are at Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts part of the Genevas concert called Our Brilliant Cultural Tapestry on May 23rd. Tell me what's happening, and welcome to Queer News Tonight.
Well, thank you so very much for having me, Eric.
Of
it's
course.
A pleasure. So we are performing right here at the Sunshine Cathedral, and that's May 23rd, as you said. We have a brilliant lineup featuring Philip Dunlap, Brazilian Voices, Eglise Gutierrez, and myself, and I'll be performing some of my favorite R&B songs by some wonderful Black female vocalists.
Oh, I love that. And this is your debut at Sunshine Cathedral, right? So you're joining the likes of iconic artists who have played that venue. But before we touch upon the concert a little bit more, I want to touch upon you and your career really quick. So you're born and raised in Miami. You've worked with these iconic artists, but your singles Don't Dream It's Over, Careless Whisper, and Part-Time Lover can all be streamed anywhere you stream music.
Any platform right now, Apple Music, Google Music, on Spotify, you can find it, buy it, please buy it.
And I'm pretty aware that you are an expert in multiple genres of music, right? So this new album that's coming out is all about jazz.
Yes.
Outside of jazz, is there another genre that you love to live in vocally?
I mean, I do really love all genres.
Yeah.
I'm an 80s baby. So actually my album is my favorite 80s songs put to jazz form. So that's why you have Don't Dream It's Over, Careless Whisper, and Part-Time Lover. And so I'm still working on the rest of the tunes that I'm putting in there. I'm definitely going to throw in a Whitney and a Michael. Okay. So yeah, you can't have it. And so I'm really excited to continue putting out that music. But pop, I love to dance. I love to move on stage. So even when I perform my jazz stuff, I'm moving.
You're moving and grooving.
I'm moving and grooving. So.
And listen, I could talk to you for 45 minutes, but quickly tell me a little bit what goes into the behind the scenes or the planning of a new album.
Well, definitely, you want to conceptualize what it is that I, want to put out there as an artist. And this one particularly meant a lot to me because I am an 80s baby. I'm a child of the 80s.
Homage to the 80s.
Homage to the 80s. And I had the wonderful privilege of going to University of Miami. I studied jazz. And I thought, let's bring these two loves that I have together and share them with the world. So I'm a big fan of George Michael and Wham. And so...
You're speaking our language.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking our language.
So I thought, like, Careless Whisper, I'm doing it as a samba. And so it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
So if you had any advice, maybe to some younger queer musicians who are maybe coming up in a conservative small town, we cover a lot of that here on Queer News Tonight. What advice maybe would you give on this platform as someone who's done it and is doing it? What would you say to maybe the younger generation who are starting to find their way?
You always have to just go with your gut, and there'll always be naysayers. There will always be someone who doesn't like what you do. Don't worry about them. Do what you love to do and continue to push forward. Don't give up.
Right, like RuPaul said.
Yeah.
No one, what someone thinks of you is not your business.
Exactly.
Right. Right. Nicole, let us know where we can find you on all social media and where can we get tickets for the show?
You can actually find me on Instagram at Nicki Kidd Vocals, and on my website it's nikkikid.com. Nikki with 2 Ks, Kid with 2 Ds.
Hey! Well, we are so happy to have you, and I have a feeling that this is the start of a brand new relationship. Welcome to the Queer News Tonight family.
Thank you so very much.
Of course. Let's welcome back Vaughn Biggs, Broward County HIV Health Services Planning Council's Vice Chair and disruptive advocate challenging outdated perceptions and fighting for HIV/AIDS rights. As Holy Cross Health's Community Outreach Coordinator, Vaughn smashes stigma through innovative campaigns and social media. Vaughn Ujima Men's Collective, supported by Holy Cross Health, will present entertainment, healthcare screening, and more at the Man Up Festival on May 4th. Tell me what's happening.
So I don't know if many of you know Lorenzo Robertson, who's the executive director for Ujima Men's Collective, asked us to participate to bring in our testing and our vaccines to the community. So we'll be offering Mpox and hepatitis A, meningitis, and COVID vaccines, of course, and free HIV self-testing kits. So he's always put on great events, great thoughtful conversations at his events. So it's at Devilo Park. So we'll have Michael and Candace and Jose there from Holy Cross out supporting the community. Stop by and get your vaccines updated.
Yeah, anytime we can give free services to our community is the way to go.
And of course, This is tonight's lead anchor, Eric Restivo. Eric is well known for the DJing at some of the largest clubs in West Hollywood and has had residencies in LA, P-Town, New York City, and now Wilton Manors. He is a television host of the W Boys, focusing on LGBTQ plus love for entertainment, broadcast on Fridays and then on demand.
We are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast, and here are the bullet points of the queer news for Tuesday, April 30th, 2024. First, this evening, let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Dancing with the South Florida Stars brings Glamor to Wilton Manors on May 13th. After a hiatus, Dancing with the South Florida Stars makes a triumphant return, now benefiting the city of Wilton Manors through Stonewall Pride. The event, set at the Manor, is scheduled for May 13th. It features a cocktail party with a silent auction, a VIP red carpet event with a meet and greet, a 3-course dinner, and the main show. VIP tables for 10 are available for community members at $1,000, while general admission is set at $20. Corey Boyd takes the helm of the show director for the most awaited event. Founders Bobby Blair and Brian Neal present the show with the Manor nightclub. The competition's judges include luminaries like Gary Santis, Robbie Leslie, Alan Beck, Debbie Burke, and Hotspots Happening Out's own Al Ferguson. The legendary Poison Ivy and myself will co-host the show, and I'll also be joined on the red carpet by Sean Palacios. Teams competing in the show include Jessica and Danny of Scandals Nightclub. A fabulous pairing includes Sunserve Executive Director Tony Lima teaming up with legendary drag queen Velvet Lenore. Other fun dancers include Jennifer McLean and Patrick from Tropics and Stoli, Raleigh and Allison from Hotspots Happening Out, and Sasha and Frank from Alibi and Drink. There will be a special team from Out and Advocate magazine, and stay tuned for more secret team announcements yet to come. Show media sponsors are Hotspots Happening Out and Out in South Florida. You can get more information and purchase a very limited amount of tickets at hotspots.click/SouthFLA-stars. Well, this is my first time seeing Dancing with the South Florida Stars, being a part of it. I had my run-through with Bobby Blair yesterday, and it is going to be a production, honey. I'm getting my steps in. I'm not wearing my heels that night. That's all I know. So I am super excited. I hope you will all be there. I would love to interview you all on the red carpet. Here's my invitation to all of you. I'm roping you in. Does anyone know any of the teams competing here?
I mean, Tony Lima and Velvet Lenore, man. And
is that is a
power. I'm rooting for Velvet always.
Right.
You know, she's a big friend of Hollywood Pride, and Tony Lima is a longtime friend as well. So I think that's going to be a powerhouse team.
Well, first, second, and third are all to be decided by the audience. So you have to be in the room to help the decision making with our first, second, and third. And I just know that it's going to be a major, major production. Yeah.
Sounds exciting.
Oh, yes, it is.
Next, let's queer up students and youth culture. The University of Florida President Ben Sasse and DeSantis warned students on Israel-Gaza protests. We are watching student protests over Israel and Palestine growing on college campuses across America. However, this week's statements in Florida may have profound implications on the LGBTQ plus community. The University of Florida issued warnings to pro-Palestinian student demonstrators, stating that violations of behavioral rules during ongoing protests could result in suspension and campus banishment for 3 years. The university also stated that employees or professors found in breach of regulations would face termination. The university's Division of Student Life issued guidelines prohibiting various activities. Although the letter lacked a signature or date, it purportedly originated from the university's administration. Prominent Republicans, including Governor Ron DeSantis, commended University of Florida's management of the demonstrations on social media. DeSantis hailed UF's distribution of the flyer as a matter of will. U.S. Representative Kat Kamek, representing Gainesville, also lauded the school's actions. Demonstrators have called on the university administration to cease investments with corporations selling arms or military technology to Israel. They also called for a student oversight committee to approve future university investments, considering University of Florida's $2.5 billion endowment. The University of Florida has approximately 55,000 students, including about 6,500 Jewish students. Governor DeSantis and UF's new president, Ben Sasse, both staunch supporters of Israel, have warned against violent pro-Palestinian protests on college campuses. Last year, DeSantis attempted to ban 2 pro-Palestinian student groups at the University of Florida and the University of South Florida in Tampa, but faced First Amendment challenges. DeSantis recently advocated for the expulsion of pro-Palestinian student protesters and the cancellation of visas for international students involved in demonstrations. The governor and GOP passed new laws last year that limit demonstrations and protests that were widely believed were aimed at marginalized communities, including LGBTQ+. Social justice activists argue that Ben Sasse and Governor DeSantis' statements are a plan that could prevent LGBTQ+ protests in the future. Again, we have to realize that limiting any kind of free speech and protest it's a slippery slope that you're next. And it's another headline where, again, as I think the governor is coming out and attacking rights, it's just another way to silence. And again, we could be next of having those demonstrations. So imagine when it's an LGBTQ issue, and there are already ones to demonstrate on college campuses if we need one. If anything else comes out worse, that they want to have demonstrations, I think limiting this is a big slippery slope.
And I think along with it being a slippery slope, it's obvious that certain causes don't receive equal treatment, especially in Florida, but across the United States. We've seen very politically motivated decisions around which protests and which demonstrations are allowed to take place. And I think, again, this is supposed to be the land of the free, right? And free speech is one of those things that is held very closely by a lot of people, and this is directly flying in the face of that.
I mean, it's a clear violation of First Amendment rights. And this is exactly what we teach our students in school, is to stand up for what they believe in and to basically just try to shut them down for their staunch beliefs and for standing up for other people. They're literally standing up to stop other people from dying. It's really sad just to see how Florida and other of our leaders are basically treating our students and future leaders.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, at least in what we have seen, is, hey, let's take care of this, but while everyone's fighting the fight, they're actually doing something over there. So look over there. What are they really doing behind the scenes?
Yeah, that's true. We're spending so much time people being angry and upset about what's happening on college campuses. We're ignoring the fact that there are attacks being carried out right this very moment.
Our rights are slowly being trickled away while we're being...
But not even ours. I mean, the people in Palestine right now.
Oh, yeah.
Next, let's queer up gay culture. Gay Days Appreciation Sale, All Aboard 2024 Land Cruise brings the magic from May 30th to June 3rd. Get ready for the Orlando and Disney Gay Days. This year's theme is All Aboard 2024 Land Cruise, and the iconic event has launched an appreciation sale. Running from May 30th to June 3rd, the largest LGBTQ+ event held in Orlando and the Walt Disney Resort celebrates the Magic Kingdom's Red Shirt Saturday. You can enjoy tower and standard rooms for just $199, and then over $800 worth of free tickets. Hotspots Happening Out is the official media sponsor for this grand event. Special events for hotel guests will include tickets for Porn Bingo, Drag Bingo, Miss Gay Days, Mr. Gay Days, Leather Puppy Mosh, Fantasy Island Circuit Party, and Love Island Circuit Party, and more. And of course, you don't want to miss out on 80s Night, 90s Night, and Show Tune Sunday. Pool passes, boots and beer, karaoke, Pleasure Island at Gay Days, and Sunday Tea Dance await too. You can get special event tickets for additional charge for Gay Days to Confused, Red Room, and the Foam Party. Gay Days at Disney World is one of the world's most popular gay and lesbian celebrations, attracting more than 100,000 travelers to Orlando, Florida each year. There's so many things happening. I mean, it's almost a little bit overwhelming. It sounds amazing. It sounds like you could go every year for 20 years and never experience everything there is.
Porn bingo sounds very interesting.
I'm intrigued.
I was like, porn bingo? Why did I not think of that?
069 is a whole new meaning. Sorry.
I was like, wait, I've never been to Gay Days. And then you read that Hotspots was the official sponsor. I want to go. Want to go. Those watching back at the office, let's go. Send us.
I know for me, when I moved here 6 years ago, I went the first 2 years I was here, and being a leather man, it was like, awesome to go and see the support from around the whole state come together. So you get to see a lot of people that you don't typically see in our own area from that community. And it's a great event. A lot of fun things to do.
It's great that it speaks to many different people and their preference of party. So it's nice that there's a lane for everyone. I appreciate that.
Next, let's queer up entertainment. Ellen DeGeneres is back with Ellen's Last Stand Up tour. Let's talks about her hurt ego and more. Get ready for the return of Ellen, the Queen of Nice. DeGeneres is her latest stand-up routine titled Ellen's Last Stand Up tour. Ellen doesn't hold back addressing the workplace scandal that led to the end of her show. Speaking at the Cornet Theater in West Hollywood, she candidly shared her experiences, revealing she got kicked out of show business twice. First when she came out, and then after her show ended in 2022. Admitting that it was a blow to her ego, she wondered how her Be Kind persona could lead to such a downfall. She quipped about the perception of her one-dimensional TV character, contrasting it with her true self. Ellen humorously speculated about her future in Hollywood, foreseeing a third ousting due to being mean, old, and gay. Despite the challenges, Ellen is embracing a comeback alongside her wife, Portia de Rossi. She says she is returning to living fully. Talking to the audience, she said, "It's hard to dance when you're crying, but I am dancing now." Don't miss Ellen's Last Stand-Up tour, soon hitting San Diego, Washington State, Oregon, and the Bay Area, with a Netflix special on the horizon. Ellen's comeback promises laughter, reflection, and perhaps a few surprises along the way. You know, I am definitely looking back to a good comeback story, and I got my popcorn ready for that Netflix special.
Ellen, here's the thing. I'm not over it. I don't think it was more of, like, for me, it wasn't about the mean. It was about, like, the blatant racism and like calling staff members the help and horrible language that was displayed by not one, not 10, not 30, but like multiple people within the workplace on her behavior. You can't just attribute that to like a bad day, So I listen, I would be lying to all of you if I said I wasn't going to watch it. I will probably tune in. But I think it's ballsy to kind of
gloss over,
come back, elbows ready to go to throw some elbows. I would approach it in a little bit more of a humbled way, like, oh my God, this was presented to me. Maybe I would kill with actual kindness a little bit, and not the brand of the nice girl.
Seems seems obvious that she hasn't learned anything.
I agree.
And I mean, you don't even need to look into the workplace thing. When you actually look back at some of the old shows, you realize everything she was doing to her guests was just mean. Like, she was torture. like pranking people, scaring people, like all you don't know how
very Nickelodeon.
But like even like a little dirtier, like a little, because it's like there were many of those stars that would go back and plead for her to not even do the scare tactic thing anymore, and then she would just kick it up a notch.
Yeah, it's just rude, violation.
Just kind of rude.
Let's not mention the game show. What she did to some of those contestants.
Yeah, I mean, with some she would throw them.
Right.
Yeah, I think she's just banking on that people have a short memory, or that her brand will. And again, the people who haven't read below the headlines or the People magazine cover or something, and I think it would have been a better comeback to hear like the work you've done. What is your personal growth? I mean, there is a part of the story of saying her personal journey. I don't know what that journey is. Maybe we'll find out, but.
Like having some real reflection of self.
Listen, lesbians forgive, but they don't forget. So if you're getting the hate from your own community, from the lesbian, good luck, honey. Good luck.
All right. Next, let's queer up politics. Most anti-LGBTQ plus laws failed to pass in 2024. Is the tide turning or just a pause? In the realm of legislation affecting LGBTQ plus communities, a curious trend has emerged. Despite a surge in proposed bills targeting gay and transgender Americans, this year very few have actually passed into law. In Florida, all but one bill got rejected, while 20 bills got declined in West Virginia. Georgia concluded its session without passing any of the 24 Republican proposals, Iowa lawmakers, having introduced or carried over 36 bills, passed only one before adjourning. This phenomenon raises speculation on whether the fervor to restrict LGBTQ plus rights is waning, even in the states where Republicans hold significant power, including supermajorities and governorships. Anti-LGBTQ plus bills have faced hurdles. According to the American Civil Liberties Union, only 20 bills have successfully passed so far, a stark 400% decline from last year's tally. This shift promotes strategies on both sides to observe a growing reluctance among Republicans to hinge their re-election campaigns on cultural wars, while certain policies like banning transgender athletes from participating in sports corresponding to their gender identity may garner public support. Polls suggest these issues don't top voters' priority lists. Jeff Graham, the executive director of Equality Georgia, fears this relief might just be a pause. He also points out that this trend is proof that Americans are pushing back, saying enough is enough. Wow, that's a lot to unpack. But, you know, I remember recently we had Equality Florida was here, and they were talking about when they went up to the state and all the work that they had done up there. And I think the takeaway I got from that was everything that was proposed and even the bill that passed, so much was removed before it was passed. So the amount that is in those bills is far more damaging than they could have been. So I think that's an important takeaway.
Well, I think we have to also realize that the laws that are being proposed, the harm that it has already done to the LGBT community, whether the law passes or not, is undeniable because it just you know, embraces all of the hate against our community. And I think that's the legacy of these bills is that just presenting them as a, you know, as a potential law, or don't say gay or anything else. You know, even though they've repealed that here in Florida, do you think every teacher in the state of Florida is comfortable with what they can and cannot say in a classroom and is still worried about their job? Believe me, they are.
I think presenting the bill is just as scary as if it gets passed. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
We often talk here about small wins. I don't think this is one. You know, I think it doesn't correlate in that sense of, oh, this is a good thing for us. I think it's another one of, hey, look over there. But I think that we should be worried anytime something like this gets presented, regardless of if it passes or not, because the thought is there, that it's what they want. So.
And the impact that it has, especially on youth, is undeniable. Like just suicide ideation, searches, fear, all of that skyrockets in a state when something like this is just proposed. Doesn't even need to pass. And I don't know that it's a pause or that it's a good thing per se, but I do think that some people who are not already hardcore against our community are realizing, like, this is too much. This is ridiculous.
Yeah,
like I can't afford groceries. I don't care about them. And it's like, okay, that's all right. Don't care about us if it means that people will stop attacking us for 2 seconds.
That's what I definitely read it as. It's more of people just, it's not the priority of people to think about LGBTQ plus rights. Right now, they're like, I need to put food on my table. And I don't think that it's a pause at all. They're continuously working behind the scenes to take away more and more of the disenfranchised rights.
Absolutely.
Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral's Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m.
We finish tonight's Queer News headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ+ 1 Minute News.
LGBTQ+ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up students and youth culture. Alabama's HB 130 and HB 385 bills ban classroom LGBTQ+ flags and may jail librarians. Alabama's legislature has pushed 2 restrictive anti-LGBTQ bills. HB 130 prohibits LGBTQ+ flags in classrooms and broadens the state's Don't Say Gay law to cover grades 6 through 8. And HB 385 would imprison librarians for providing sexual or gender-oriented material to minors without parental consent. The bills await consideration in the state's Republican-controlled upper legislative chamber. Well, I hope they're building a lot more prisons in Alabama because they're going to have to throw a lot of women who want to get an abortion in jail and people who want to get IVF in jail with the librarians.
Yeah, I think that Alabama's legislator, student, I'm forgetting the name, but anyway, that oh my God, the schools.
Yeah.
What are they called?
Librarians?
No, like the school.
districts?
Yeah, the districts. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're
Sorry.
welcome.
The
Got you.
districts should focus more on the quality of the education they're providing and less on what kind of flags you can have in the classroom.
Good
Amen. Guidance counselors and librarians were my safe space in grade school and high school, so step back. Coming for you.
I think teachers have enough to worry about than have to, what flag am I allowed to put in school?
I think, librarians, what is their passion? Their whole goal in life is to collect literature, to provide education for many people for years to come. And I feel a lot for them, and I'm coming for you too.
Yes, let's go, Vaughn.
LGBTQ+ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up entertainment. Laverne Cox joins historic Standing on the Shoulders of Heroes on May 7th. Emmy winner Laverne Cox will join the City College of New York's Standing on the Shoulders of Heroes exhibit on May 7th. Curated in Fort Lauderdale by the Stonewall National Museum, this glorious exhibit is making a trek across the country. I got to witness some of this, and it was super cool, and I hope that everyone is still able to enjoy it.
I have had the pleasure of interviewing Laverne Cox in the past as well, and she is just chef's kiss. So you had me at Laverne.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Laverne. Just fabulous.
I say take it to Alabama, to the library.
Ah, smart.
Wherever you can support the work of the Stonewall National Museum, their work is top-notch and all of their exhibits are amazing. So definitely check it out if you're in New York City or any of the cities that it's coming to.
LGBTQ+ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up drag culture. Drag queens of We're Here face hate in Shelbyville, Indiana. The new cast of We're Here visited the conservative town of Shelbyville on the April 26th episode, but their welcome they received was rather hateful. One woman in a makeup store told the queen she doesn't like drag queens. In another incident, Sasse and Priyanka had to face a number of homophobic slurs. Listen, it's the beginning of the season of We're Here. I would be surprised if they didn't get this kind of welcome, but let's hope that these people don't have the same feeling towards the end of the whole experience.
I mean, look at a missed opportunity, a lady in a makeup store with drag queens. Come on.
Hey, listen, I didn't live too far from Shelbyville, Indiana, so I know the hate that's in that city. So all I can say is be fierce.
Listen, for those people that are coming at those queens, I have 2 words for you: Latrice Royale. Will flatten you, so watch out.
She's on her way.
I think, again, missed opportunity, and also just I'm glad for the people of Shelbyville get to experience somebody who's different from them, even if it's just for a moment.
LGBTQ+ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up sports. The LGBTQ+ community eagerly awaits the Kentucky Derby 2024. This year is the 150th Kentucky Derby horse race. This annual horse race is typically held in the first week of May at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky. It is one of the longest continuously held sports events in America, and many in the queer community love the event for its flamboyant hats and costumes. I mean, I love a good hat.
I didn't get to wear my Easter bonnet, so I'm looking forward to this.
You had me at horses.
Are you secretly a horse girl? No.
I don't know what the Kentucky Derby is.
Oh, wow. LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up gay culture. Joe Biden administration makes Section 1557 of the Affordable Care Act more inclusive. This week, the Biden-Harris administration unveiled a groundbreaking update to Section 1557 of the Affordable Care Act, bolstering protections against discrimination, notably for the LGBTQ plus community. This more reverses Trump-era rollbacks and reaffirms that discrimination based on sex includes sexual orientation and gender identity. You know, I think this is great because as we've learned, you know, it doesn't matter your gender identity. None of that matters. Everyone should be entitled to free health care, or not free health care, but health care.
It's a reminder that rollback that he's doing off the Trump policies could be rolled back again in January if you don't go out and vote.
And I will say that everyone does deserve free health care, but yeah,
yes,
it's a good thing.
I was going to say, small win. Check.
It's about time you do something. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
All right, that is today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Are you, like most of America, part of our very large television audience watching this live LGBTQ plus news broadcast right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV?
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. This is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Eric Restivo, and on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Mateo Ventura Bruer, Jeff Oliverio, Nicole Kidd, Vaughn Biggs, we will see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ plus world, we wish you
Good night.